Hello everyone, welcome back to the last chapter in Code Realize for Victor Frankenstein. We have 30 minutes remaining until everything happens to Cardia and bad things are coming to London. um, so sorry it's been a while since my last episode, but this whole week, well not the whole week, but it's been bad weather after another. Like I don't really do anything on the weekends and now it's Tuesday and it's just been just crazy weather and want to I don't want to do any recording with the fear of the weather going out or the weather knocking out my computer and just corrupting the video. Like that would really be bad. It would not be good to re-record anything because then I would just want to rush through it and it wouldn't be as good as an episode as the previous ones. But we have 30 minutes remaining. This is the last chapter and I can't wait to get it done because it's a really good chapter. And then we have Saint Germain next, which I'm really looking forward to, as I've been saying throughout this whole series. Britain's Queen Victoria plans to use Icterium as a weapon to change London into a city of death. Victor and I are running down a passage chasing after her. She's breathing really hard. I'm short of breath, my body is hot, my head feels heavy, and my vision is wavering. Is my body being affected by the transformation of the horologium? My condition is worsening by the minute, I can barely keep running. I need to hurry and reach what's up ahead as fast as I can. Telling myself this, I try to keep pace with Victor, but my legs are sluggish and I come to a stop. Victor stands next to me, holding me up by leaning me against him. Thank you, Victor.
今の僕にできるのはこの程度だから。叶うなら君の痛みや苦しみを引き受けてあげたいのに。
He looks frustrated, grimacing and gritting his teeth. There's just too little time left for me. Will I become death incarnate or will they use the Zecterium? Either way, at this rate, London will be destroyed according to Victoria's plan. There's probably only one way to protect Victor and everyone else. That's right, after we stop Victoria, before I become a monster, I'll have to... I slowly touched the dagger that I took from the Twilight Soldier before I arrived here. Then...
ダメだよ。変なことを考えたら。
How does he even know that she has that? He's noticed me. Victor. But where is she keeping the dagger? I guess it's out in the open where you can see.
それだけはダメだ。そもそもうまくいくかもわからないし。
But there is no other way to protect you and everyone else. I speak softly, looking up into Victor's eyes. His gentle eyes shine with a strong determination.
君は優しいから。優しすぎるから。かえって人の気持ちがわからないんだろうね。君が死んで僕が生き残ってもそれは僕にとっての幸せじゃない。君のいない世界で生きることが僕にとってどれだけ苦しいと思う？
Victor's voice assures me that he's not angry at all. His voice is overflowing with sadness and kindness. This makes the pain in my chest tighten more than I thought that it could. I want to believe in Victor. If there's any gleam of hope that we can both survive together, I want to take that chance and capture a bright future. But every time I think this, the heavy memories of the past sneak up on me. The memory of the day when I committed a crime that can never be undone. Listen, Victor, someone once died in my place because I tried to live. Before I know it, the world spill out of my mouth. She was a kind-hearted woman. She accepted me even after finding out about the poison inside me. But she ended up dying because of it. Eddie and Elaine's faces swim into my mind's eye. I couldn't do anything for her as she was suffering, dying from my poison right in front of my eyes. I didn't even have the chance to hold her hand and comfort her. That's why I look down at my poison-tainted hands and speak in a trembling voice. I don't want to go through that again. I really don't. If he died like that because of my poison, if that happens, a future I don't even want to imagine crosses my mind. That day that I tried to leave the mansion was because I didn't think I should stay with everyone anymore. The day Victor, who has stopped me from leaving, disappeared instead. Even then, the heartache was too much to bear. This time it would be far worse. If Victor dies, I'll never be able to see him again. When I think of this, I...
僕は死なないよ。
He's not going to die. He touches my shoulder with his hand. Victor has stopped running and is looking me straight in the eyes.
カルディア、きっと僕と君は同じなんだ。
The same?
君の毒が人を殺したって言うなら、僕が生んだ毒だって人を殺してる。毒のせいで目の前で人が死んでいったと言うなら、僕だってこの目で見た。自分の生み出した毒のせいで目の前で人が死んでいく姿を。
I think out of everyone in the group, Victor will be able to understand where she's coming from the most, because it's a poison he created, sure, but it's caused him grief. Everyone else, they just see it secondhand, but he's experienced it firsthand. Yeah, that poison that killed her friend, it came from him, so he created it. He's also seen it used, so it must be sad hearing him sympathize with her like that. Victor.
僕は君と何も変わらない。むしろ君より罪深いんだ。
Victor's grip on my shoulders tightens to the point of pain. Victor looks up at the ceiling and speaks quietly.
だからきっと僕は君のことを放っておけなかった。贖罪のつもりはない。それで許されるとも思っていない。でもそれでも同じ苦しみを背負わされた君をどうしても救いたいと思ってる。
She only has 30 minutes to live, and we're sitting here talking about this. Like, it's probably going to take me 30 minutes to read this, so you're wasting time. Victor looks into my face, then smiles gently.
君の不安と恐怖をすべて拭い去ってみせる。そのためにも一つだけ、これだけは約束してほしい。絶対に諦めないで。最後のその瞬間まで僕を信じて。
Let's see, it is, I promise. Let's see, there's not a save until the second choice. Can I allow myself to believe again, even though trusting only led to loss with Elaine? But still, I want to believe. Victor's kindness and warmth. They make feelings that have sunk into the depths of my heart rise again. I don't want to give up either. I want to live with you. Let me believe you. I feel like I'm a little bit stopped up, so if I sound stuffy, I apologize. I'm almost in tears as I say this. Victor, who had been listening to me in silence, smiles and nods slowly.
わかった。
As he says this, he slowly takes his gloves off. Oh, is the CG coming up? He stares down at his own hands and gently reaches out to my cheek. Victor? He said trust him, and you already know your poison's fading, so... I shout, and I try to slap his hand away. But he forcefully pulls me towards him and places both his hands on my cheeks. I love the CG so much. This was my... Okay, good, he didn't talk. This was my desktop background for years after I read this. It's just so beautiful. The warm, soft feeling of human skin touching my cheek. What? But his hands don't smoke or melt. I mean, you already knew that it was fading with the blood. Did you already forget?
やっぱり
No. How? How are you able to touch me?
ジクテリウムはね、変質するわずかな時間だけ毒性が消えることがあるんだ。だから君のホロロギウムがそれをベースとした物質なら。
There was a possibility that the poison could disappear? Victor nods briefly. This explains what happened while I was being held captive by Alistair. I tried to melt the rope to escape, but my poison wasn't effective at all. Which means that right now my poison is...
やっと君に触れることができた。
He's so adorable. I love the scene so much. Victor's eyes are bright as he touches his cheek against mine. It's the first time I've ever felt this soft, warm sensation. Even more noticeable than that is the sweet burning emotion I feel. Victor, it might be alright now, but it may not be completely safe, so...
ごめん、話したくない。こうすれば僕の気持ちが、僕の全部が君に伝わる気がするから。
But my skin feels very hot against his. Embarrassment and comfort prevent me from being too firm with him.
君の恐怖や過去、痛みや苦しみも僕にはよくわかる。
My favorite picture, even more than any of Saint Germain's.
犯した罪からは逃れられないってこともよく知ってる。
Right.
でもこうして君のそばにいることはできる。一緒に背負うことはできる。
Victor's voice is taut with emotion as he whispers to me. His words hold nothing but endless love.
君が僕を罪人でも構わないと言ってくれたように、僕も君が罪人でも構わない。僕は君を愛してる。
Ah,
君が君自身を諦めようとして見捨てたとしても、
Victor's emotions.
僕は絶対に君を見捨てない。
And his warmth spread throughout my body.
もし君が怪物になったとしても、
I already am one.
僕は君を愛することをやめない。
I shouldn't love anyone.
愛していいかなんて聞く必要もない。
It's like she's having a private conversation with him and he's just answering it. But if that's the case...
君を救い、君と共に歩む。それだけが僕の望みだ。
I'm prepared to love him even if it breaks all logic. I don't know what kind of result this choice will lead to. It would be a lie if I say that I don't have any doubts about it. This is the first future I've ever wished for myself. In the past, I didn't even have the capacity to imagine a future. I will fight to the ends of the earth to make this vision come true. It's so sweet. Like, Victor is the sweetest person out of all of them. This is the only confession like this in the whole entire thing. Really, I just want to stay here in this warm embrace, but we have to get going. There isn't much time left. Victor must have been thinking the same thing as he starts to put his gloves back on, looking downcast.
そろそろ行かなきゃね。
He's not even a little bit shy. Yes.
そんな残念そうな顔しないで。今はとにかく進まないといけないんだし。
I know, you can't stay like that forever. You have to go and fix this. Huh? Did I look that way?
うん。すごくしてた。可愛かった。
You were disappointed. His carefree smile leaves me speechless for a moment.
行こう。カルディア。
He gently holds out his hand. I start running, allowing him to pull me, and look at him as he leads the way. Watching him, I'm reassured. As long as I'm with him, I have nothing to fear. All I need to do is trust in him and keep going forward. That took way longer than 10 minutes, I'll have you know. We're like 20 minutes into recording. 20 minutes remaining. The place we're in now feels very different from the hall and the passageway that we'd been traveling through. What is that? It's like a Yggdrasil tree inside of inside of a building. An unknown machine forming a massive trunk with branches and leaves that glow blue, just like the Horologium. This strange yet mighty tree is isolated behind a huge glass window, giving off an overwhelming eeriness.
まさかこれが拡散装置。
It's an interesting shape. It even has a strange beauty about it.
でもこれは人を死に誘う美しさだ。僕たちで止めないと。
I nod to him in response. Just then,
来ると思っていたわ、シュタイン博士。そしてお人形ちゃん。
Victoria. Standing before us is the queen who is attempting to destroy the capital of her own country. As she basks in the glow of the tree, Victoria has an almost divine air about her. And standing at Victoria's side is her faithful knight Lionheart. However, right now he says nothing, with not a hint of emotion on his face.
ここに来てくれたということは、提案を受け入れてもらったと思っていいのかしら。それならこちらいらっしゃい。もう拡散装置は作動させた。間もなくこのロンドンは死の街となる。人々は一瞬で死の眠りに誘われる。苦しまずに済むのはせめてもの救いだわ。
Victoria says this quietly, then extends her hand to us. But Victor shakes his head.
勘違いしてもらったら困る。僕たちは従うためにここに来たんじゃない。お前たちの馬鹿げた企みをこの手で止めるために来たんだ。
止める？それはもうできない相談だわ。もう装置は動き出した。破壊でもしない限り決して止まることはないのだから。
No.
それなら破壊するまでだ。
Victor's gaze is firm as he takes one step forward.
僕はアイザックに指示していた。ある程度なら彼の研究も理解できる。だからこの装置を破壊することだってできるさ。
He slowly approaches the great machine. However, Victoria obviously doesn't just stand by quietly, obviously.
レオンハルト。
Lionheart gives Victoria a respectful salute, then takes a step towards Victor as the queen takes a step back.
何人たりとも陛下の邪魔はさせん。ビクター・フランケンシュタイン、貴殿が戦いの訓練を積んだ軍人ではないことは重々承知だ。だが 命を懸ける覚悟でここまで来た以上。
He's talking differently to him. It's like, I don't know. He's lost his enthusiasm. I'm pretty sure he's against this whole thing, but he kind of has no choice but to obey.
このランパール・レオンハルト、容赦をするつもりはない。
Lionheart takes the dueling stance, ready to fight, and Victor glares at him. He then takes out the weapon he has been hiding. A chemical-filled test tube in his hand. Or 3. He places it on the floor. What?
何の真似かしら、シュタイン博士。まさか降伏でもするつもり？
まさか降伏なんてしないよ。これが僕の戦い方だ。
Victor?
そこをどいてほしい。ランパール・レオンハルト。
What are you gonna do? Kick the test tube at him?
戦いの意志を示さなければ、我が輩が貴殿を切らないとでも。なんと浅はかな。
There we go. Now he is a little more enthusiastic. Lionheart charges towards Victor, his sword flashing. Lionheart slaps Victor heavily with the flat of his sword. No, Victor!
切っちゃダメだ。
I try to run to him, but the urgency in his voice stops me.
これは僕の戦いなんだ。
Lionheart watches as Victor slowly gets to his feet, then gets a tight grip on his sword.
さあ、今ので戦う気になったかね。武器を取りたまえ、正々堂々決着をつけよう。
He doesn't have a weapon.
さっきも言ったはずだ。嫌だと。
No.
まだそのような口を。
お前たちは力で世界を支配しようとしている。そのお前たちを僕が力で屈服させようとするなら、僕はお前たちの信念を否定できない。だから僕は僕なりの戦い方で正しさを証明してみせる。
この
He couldn't just irritate him. His blade lashes out over and over. Victor endures the pain of heavy blows from Lionheart's sword. Though he isn't using the edge, the attacks are forceful enough to break bones or crush organs. And yet Victor doesn't fall. Even after Lionheart slams the pommel of his sword into Victor's abdomen, Victor stands and looks straight at Lionheart. There is no anger there. He simply glares at the man in silence, questioningly.
なぜ武器を取らない。私が刃を返せばそれだけで貴殿は死ぬのだぞ。死が怖くはないのか。
怖いも何も、お前たちの計画が成功すれば僕たちはみんな死ぬ。
I mean, that is true.
僕が立っているのは信念の問題なんだよ。
そのような減らず口も死んでしまえば叩けまい。
Lionheart readies to attack once again. The sword swings down, hitting Victor's right leg. I hear the awful sound of something break and Victor falls on the spot. Victor, please. When I see Victor fall, I want to run over to him this very second. I want to embrace him and tell him not to be so rash and to shield him. But Victor grits his teeth against the pain, telling me to stay away with his eyes. Why, Victor? A pained whimper escapes my lips, and a noise begins to come from the glowing tree. The noise is chillingly cold, inciting fear within all of us.
どうやら時間切れのようね。
It hasn't been 20 more minutes.
これで私の女王としての役目もおしまい。
Hearing the queen's somewhat melancholic tone, Victor's fingers twitch.
まだだ。おしまいになんかさせるもんか。
He's got like some kind of ace plan or something. I know he does. His fingers curl into form tightly clenched fists and he stands back up.
まだ立つというのか。
The power of love. Victor stares at Lionheart. Even though he isn't holding a weapon, the sheer intensity of Victor's gaze makes Lionheart instinctively take a step back.
これ以上傷つけば切るまでもなく本当に死ぬぞ。ここで従えばたとえ自分が死のうとも彼女は救われる。それがなぜわからんのだ。
自分が死んでも大切なものだけは救うと。
その通り。それこそが私が信じる騎士道というものだ。
なら僕とは違う。
Victor glances over at me. He wants me to trust him. His eyes say more to me than his words, and I clasp my hands together as if in prayer.
こんな臆病で最低な僕を彼女は愛すると言ってくれた。だから僕は死なない。大切な人を残して死んだりしない。僕は騎士なんてものじゃないけど、それが僕にとっての騎士道だ。
そんなわがままを振りかざしてまだ抗う気か。
ああ、何度だって戦うさ。君を説得するのが僕の戦いだ。納得いかなければ殺せばいい。
Lionheart tightens his grip on his sword, but his movements are not as self-assured as before. Victor looks at the other man straight in the eyes before he speaks again.
レオンハルト、君だって分かっているはずだ。こんなことは間違っていると。
黙れ。我が輩はただ陛下の望むままに剣を振り、その道を切り開くのみ。
わからないのか。その道の先には地獄しかない。何が犠牲を最小に食い止めるだ。やってることは大量殺人じゃないか。恐怖をまき散らして力で押さえつけて、それのどこが正義なんだよ。
レオンハルト、もういいわ。彼を殺しなさい。
しかし
こうしなければイギリスは滅ぼされる。ふざけるなよ。この国に住む人たちがそんなに弱いっていうのか。君やビクトリアがここまで育ててきたこの国がそんなにも弱いと思うのか。答えろ。答えろよ、レオンハルト。
Lionheart thrusts his sword forward in an attempt to break free of his doubts. Victor!
大丈夫。
Doesn't sound like you're fine at all. Oh my goodness. Lionheart stabs his sword through Victor's left leg. Oh my goodness. Without so much as flinching, Victor grabs Lionheart's arm as he tries to pull the blade out.
僕は後悔した。ジクテリウムが使われたあの時、どうして僕はそこで戦わなかったのかをずっと何度もあの日の光景を夢に見た。あの悪夢をもう一度起こす大義なんて この世には存在しない。するわけがない。
Blood flows from Victor's wound. Droplets fall and splatter on the floor like tears.
だが我が輩は、私は剣だ。陛下の思いを、その意志を支え、現実のものとする。陛下が地獄への道をたどるというのであれば、我が輩は喜んで旅路を共にしよう。それが陛下よりナイトの称号を賜った我が輩の信念、我が輩の正義、我が輩の道である。
それのどこがナイトなんだ。少しも彼女を守れてないじゃないか。
なんだと。
ビクトリアは今まさにもう戻れない道を進もうとしてる。大きな間違いを犯そうとしてる。君が本物のナイトなら、彼女を大切に思うなら、君以外の誰が彼女を助けるんだ。
Victor's commanding voice rings out. No one is able to move. Victor's body sways. Victor! As Lionheart pulls the sword out of Victor's leg, Victor collapses on the ground. Victoria speaks in a detached voice.
殺しなさい、レオンハルト。彼は装置を止めると言っていた。万が一でもマイナスの要素は全て排除すべきよ。
Lionheart raises his sword once more at her command. Wait! I shout and throw myself between Victor and Lionheart to shield Victor as he lays upon the floor.
何の真似だ。
カルティア、ダメだ、そんなこと。
I'm not standing aside. I don't want to. If this is your fight, then it's mine as well. I glare defiantly at Lionheart, not showing any weakness at the man standing before me. As we face each other down.
そうね。このままなら彼女は怪物になってしまう。それならいっそここで彼女を殺してしまいましょう。
Victoria's voice is cold.
それからジクテリウムを拡散する。結果は変わらないわ。
Yeah.
その子を切りなさい、レオンハルト。シュタイン博士はそのままでいい。きっともう何もできないから。
Well, that's cruel. Just leave him alive while you kill the girl. How rude.
ません。
レオンハルト？
できません、陛下。
Lionheart bellows this, then turns to face Victoria.
私は常々陛下より賜ったナイトの称号を何より大切にしてきました。陛下の理念を何よりも信じておりました。ですがこうして武器も持たずに仲間をかばうレディを切り捨てることに何の正義があるのです。彼女を切ることは私の騎士道に外れます。
それがあなたの忠誠なの？レオンハルト。
いいえ陛下、シュタイン博士の言う通りです。恐れながら申し上げます。我々は間違った道を歩んでいるのです。
Lionheart. Victor, who had been lying still behind me, begins to stir.
ありがとう。また君に守られたね。
Victor, you can't move in your condition.
ボロボロのくせにって。それは君も同じじゃないか。
He smiles weakly, then slowly gets to his feet.
決着をつける。この装置は僕が。
Still dripping with red, he moves to the base of the device. He reaches towards the large control panel. His breathing is laborious and he can barely remain standing, but his fingers keep moving.
仮にこれが間違った道だとしても、今さら歩みは止められないわ。
Victoria mutters this under her breath as Lionheart confronts her behind us. She quietly steps forward.
いいわ。あなたができないというのなら私がやる。そこをどいて、レオンハルト。
できません。
Oh. He is not only like standing up, but he's like straight up defying her. No. The device grows brighter and brighter, its light seeming to reach a peak of intensity.
止まれ。止まれ。
She said you'd have to destroy it. All I can do to help Victor as he works desperately is to hold him up so he doesn't fall.
止まれよ。
It will go off any moment now. The device's brightness somehow makes me sense this.
そこをどきなさい。
できません。
私の計画を邪魔するつもりなの。
Victoria is visibly agitated. She's way more than agitated. She is straight up yelling. This is the first time the normally cool queen has shown any raw emotion. I know, right?
この計画のためにどれほどの犠牲が必要だったか。私がどれほどこの手を血に染めてきたか、あなたは知っているはずでしょ。どきなさい。その犠牲を全て無駄にするつもりなの。
それは新たな犠牲者を生み出していい理由にはなりません。
You guys are a perfect match. You guys have the straight up emotion behind your words. He's still very excitable even in defying you. The device begins to rumble, and as its light becomes blinding, oh no. I don't close my eyes, I don't even pray. It's still too soon to give up. If Victor is still putting up a fight, I won't give up either.
これで最後。頼む。止まってくれ。
Victor slams something into the device and everything goes white. Eventually... Are we all alive? I gotta hit the button again. What happened? A familiar sense lies before me. There is complete silence. Victor looks at me in complete exhaustion.
止まったよ。これでジクテリウムがロンドンを汚染することはない。
そんな。
二度と起動できないように自爆プログラムも作動させた。これでもう全部終わりだよ、ビクトリア。
Victoria looks up at the device as Victor speaks, her face clearly dumbfounded.
こんなバカなことが。
I had always thought that she was a strong person, but seeing her so stunned, she reminds me of an abandoned child. Victoria, the device has been stopped. There's no reason for you to continue.
いいえ、装置は止まってもまだ計画は終わっていないわ。
You're going to use her to kill everyone. Victoria cuts me off, then takes out her pocket watch and smiles. Yep,
ま
right.
だあなたがいる。あなたが私の切り札よ。あと少しであなたはあなたでなくなる。そうでしょ。そしてシュタイン博士にはあなたを助ける時間も体力もない。
She's right. Even if we did stop the Zictorium, if my poison spreads, London will still be destroyed. Victoria smiles a brilliant smile, knowing this.
そうよ。何も変わらないわ。
You are just straight up crazy.
私たちが死ぬことによって我が愛すべきイギリスはさらなる高みへと至る。
As if on cue, the entire room begins to shake. It's most likely a precursor to the self-destruct that Victor had mentioned earlier.
陛下、ここは危険です。あなたは大切な御身、脱出しましょう。
逃げる必要なんてないでしょ。やっと全てが終わるのよ。やっと私は救われるの。
この道の先に救いなどありません。陛下。
Lionheart grabs her hand and pulls her away. But at that moment... Uh-oh. What? I knew it. Victoria stabs Lionheart in the back with the dagger she had been hiding.
ごめんなさい、レオンハルト。一緒に行きましょう。
Victoria looks tired as she smiles, and the bloody dagger falls from her hand and bounces on the floor. But Lionheart... He doesn't show any signs of pain, but smiles with a peaceful expression.
陛下、私はあなたをお慕い申し上げております。
レオンハルト。
故に失礼をお許しください。
Victoria doesn't have time to ask what he means or even react at all. Lionheart punches her in the stomach with a vicious fist. Victoria quickly loses consciousness and Lionheart quietly catches her. Victor, Lionheart, you both need to do something about your bleeding. As I treat Victor's wound, I look over at Lionheart as well. He simply shakes his head silently as if to say that there's no time.
シュタイン博士、我が輩は陛下を安全な場所までお連れする。頼めた義理ではないが、貴殿に全てを任せていいか。
ああ、最初からそのつもりだよ。
すまない。
I wonder if that little exchange that he did is what made me think that he was in love with her, but I thought he actually admitted it. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe that's just the impression I got from him. Lionheart disappears into the darkness carrying the queen. I mean, it's possible that he says something in Saint Germain's route, but I don't think so. Like, I remember this scene specifically and them having a confrontation. Victor smiles sweetly at me as the shaking continues to grow more violent.
さあ、休んでいる暇はないね。あとは君を救うだけなんだから。
I look at the pocket watch and see that there are less than 10 minutes remaining. I know, I've already been talking for 30 more. Which means that my body is already at its limits. It's probably only a matter of time before I lose control over myself. But I'm not alone. I'm ready for this. During the brief period that she is unconscious, Victoria dreams. A dream of days long past, far out of her reach. Maybe this is where I got it. I think Lionheart's in her dream. You always gotta feel sorry for the bad guy. So here's the bad guy's story. When she was younger, Victoria was very kind and timid. So much so that when a butterfly she took in as a pet died, she shut herself in her room for a week. As she grew, she developed into an intelligent woman, gaining the attention of those around her. Her father, King Edward, had been heavily involved in wars among the colonies. Being clear-headed, she understood that would be a future source of unrest. That was why she advised countless times to end the war and search for a road to peace, but as a result, she provoked the displeasure of her father, the king. Then one day, she accompanied him to one of these colonies and saw the horrors firsthand. The local people were treated like slaves. She saw people looking at her with eyes filled with hatred. Seeing this convinced her. She must steer this country herself, or it will become a target of anger and hatred from other countries and be expunged. As Victoria continued to grow, she started gaining political power of her own, and Edward began to see her as a nuisance. Edward made plans to have Victoria assassinated. Victoria heard about the assassination attempt. She made the decision that she had to kill her father and poisoned him. Oh my goodness. This is where you get your corruption from. Your dad wants to kill you, so you just kill him instead. Then she took the throne and did everything she could to clean up the mess her father left behind. She was willing to make small sacrifices to eliminate greater evils. Time and time again, she stained her hands with blood. Eventually, she stopped shedding tears over the sacrifices she made. She stood atop a great mound of corpses that she herself had created, and charged along a treacherous path, never once looking back. Now, this long, hard journey is finally about to come to an end. Finally, she would be relieved of the burden of being the queen, or so she had thought. She had hoped, even. I know, your troublesome night just saves you. She wakes, surrounded by gentle warmth. She opens her eyes and sees that she is being carried away by Lionheart as he walks. This feeling is familiar. She finds herself thinking back. Years ago, when Victoria had almost been the victim of a political assassination, Lionheart had risked his life to save hers. Just as he is doing now, he has scooped her up and carried her to a safe place when she was wounded and unable to move on her own. She still had been happy back then. But now...
目を覚まされたのですね、陛下。
Lionheart speaks softly to her, noticing her stirring slightly in his arms. His loyalty to her remains completely unclouded even after she stabbed him. It makes her feel so small, and it's also bittersweet.
これで計画はおしまい。今までのすべてが無駄になる。あなたはイギリスの敵よ、レオンハルト。
She has branded you an enemy.
ええ。ですからどのような罰も甘んじてお受けいたします。
どうしてあなただけは信じていたのに。なぜあなたまで私の敵になってしまうの。
恐れながら申し上げます、陛下。私は今日まであなたの敵となったことはただの一度もありません。そして未来永劫あなたに身を捧げた忠誠の騎士であることを誓います。
Victoria remains silent, thinking over what his words might mean. She looks down and sees Lionheart's blood dripping down his back has left a trail on the street. Undeniable proof of her attempt to end his life. She lets this sink in, then mutters,
レオンハルト、あなたは死ぬの。
She sounds like a sad little child.
死にはしません。陛下を置いていったりはしません。
では命令よ、レオンハルト。もしあの子が本物の怪物にならなかったら私を殺しなさい。計画失敗の責任を取るわ。
できません。
I can't even refuse your last order.
どうして私はたくさんの人を殺してきた。それが無駄になろうとしているのよ。責任を取るのは当たり前でしょ。この手はもういるのも嫌なくらいに血で汚れているのよ。
She has lost all of her queenly composure. She tears off her royal regalia and clings to Lionheart.
もう楽にさせてお願いよ。私を助けてよ。
But Lionheart, her faithful knight,
できません。
he repeats it slowly like a parent persuading a child.
このイギリスには今後もあなたのお力が必要です。あなたがいなければとっくにこのイギリスは地図から姿を消していたはず。死は責任を取ることになりません。あなたは生きてこのイギリスを救い続けるのです。
買いかぶりよ。私はいつも虚勢を張ってた。怖くて仕方なかった。私は国を滑る器じゃない。
私はそうは思いません。幼いあなたは私ごときこそ泥に自らの装飾品を分け与え英国の騎士にしてくれた。病床にあった妹はおかげで幸せに生き幸せに死ぬことができました。誇り高き陛下のご恩情、今日まで一度たりとも忘れたことはありません。
Victoria smiles in self-deprecation and shakes her head in response.
あれはただのアピールよ。あなたを救いたかったわけじゃない。
Well, at least she's honest, I guess.
あなたを救うことで民衆に恩情を分け与える優しい王族のイメージが欲しかった。
She didn't mean to say this, but she can no longer hide who she really is from Lionheart. She should at least be allowed to admit the whole truth now that it's over.
ただ民衆を味方につけたかっただけ。
He must be so disappointed in me. Now I have nothing left, not even the loyalty of my best knight. As she thinks this,
見損なわないでください。
Lionheart puffs out his cheeks indignantly like an angry child.
あなたが私の家族を救ったことは厳然たる事実なのです。あれから今日まで私は誰よりも近くであなたを見てきた。誰かを犠牲にするとき、本当はあなたが誰より悲しんでいたことを、その手を血で怪我したとき、誰よりあなたがその罪を直視していたことを。私の主君はあなたです。私の忠誠はあなたのものです。共に生きましょう。共に苦しみ、いずれあなたが地獄に落ちるというのなら、その時はこのランパール・レオンハルト、地獄の底まで付き添わせていただきます。
Maybe him saying this is what made me think that he was in love with her. It has been some time since she had felt anything but the knight's words find their way into her heart. They gradually spread within her and fulfill her.
私を殺してはくれないのね。あなたは残酷よ。これまで私が出会った人物の中で一番残酷で一番優しい。
Victoria shuts her eyes. A single tear rolls down her cheek. This tear, the first she has shed since she killed her father with her own hands. And there you go. Now you can feel sorry for Victoria. It's exploding. Oh no. The rumbling in the room is growing stronger. The entire room will most likely be buried underground soon. The time limit is almost upon us. This room will soon be destroyed and I'll no longer be me. There is only a short while left.
Cardia, 立てるかい?
I think so.
これから拡散装置が自爆する前にジクテリウムを抽出してそれを君の体内に送り込む。抽出まで少し時間がかかるけど確実に君を助けることができる。
It takes time?
ああ、君自身のタイムリミットは残り5分。ジクテリウムの抽出が終わるまでおそらく7分かかる。
Oh, you better hurry. What about these other 2 minutes?
心配しないで。外に毒が漏れ出す前に君の毒は消し去ってみせる。
Victor smiles warmly in an attempt to calm me, but he avoided answering the most important question, which gives me a bad feeling. But what happened to you? You're going to be so close to me. What's going to happen?
僕の心配はしなくていいよ。なんとかするから。
He's going into this thinking that he's not going to make it. He's going to sacrifice himself to save her, but he just scolded her for doing that. He just scolded her for thinking that a moment ago about taking her life to spare him. Like, this annoys me so much that when the character was like, you know, saying, don't do this, or you're going to make me sad or mad or whatever, but then turns around to do the exact same thing later. It makes me so upset. You're not answering my question. I know, right?
賞賛はないわけじゃないよ。ほら、以前ジクテリウムの毒ガスに巻き込まれたことがあったでしょ。ジクテリウムを取り込んだあの時、君のホロロギウムは変質を一時的に停止したはずなんだ。だから計算上はその分だけ余裕がある。
That's not reassuring at all. If you're wrong about this, you'll...
大丈夫。きっと大丈夫だから。
I free myself from Victor's hands with all my strength I can muster. I don't want to risk his life when the stakes are so high. Then I might as well, just as I'm thinking this, whatever, I lose control over my body and collapse to the floor on the spot. Oh no. I can't even choose death for myself now. Even though at this rate, I know I'm going to be the cause of Victor's death.
カルディア、もう一度言うよ。僕を信じて。
Victor gives me a sideways glance as I lie there unable to move, and he continues working the controls with trembling hands.
毒素のみを抽出。体内に取り込めるように液体の形で。
With a thump, I feel something inside my body move. I desperately try to push back something trying to spill out of me. That's enough. Meeting you and being able to love you. It gave me all the happiness I needed, so please kill me.
死なせない。死なせるもんか。絶対に。
My arm is heavy as lead, but I manage to move it and look down at the pocket watch. The hand is about to reach the 0. Once again, someone I care about, someone who says they love me, someone I love myself, is going to die because of me. Just trust him. Oh my goodness, he said trust him. Please. Tears spill from my eyes, blurring my view of Victor. At that moment, the clock hand reaches the 0. Oh no. The horologium begins to emit an intense heat. You know, the clock could have been slightly off, but no. For dramatic purposes, it's got to be right on the money. A sensation, not quite pain or burning, runs through my entire body. No, Cardia, don't die. A bright light bursts forth from my chest, filling the entire room with blinding brightness. My back arches against my will. My body is undergoing a transformation. Oh no! The poison oozes out of me, and I begin to change into something else. Victor.
もう少しなんだ。耐えて、カルディア。
Victor's shouts echo in the back of my ear. My vision of Victor gradually starts to turn blurry. I believe in you. I don't want to kill you. Okay, so we're going to save it here. Then when you say you believe in him, that's going to take you to the happy ending. Yeah. As the poison seeps out of my skin and comes into contact with the air, it rises from my body as steam. I probably have less than a minute before I turn into something else. If I let myself become a monster, I will end up killing the person that I care most about. Just like before. My hand begins reaching for the dagger on my own, but I grip my arm tightly with my other hand and resist. He touched my cheek, touched our foreheads together, and said that he loved me. I won't give up. Victor told me again and again to keep believing. He loves me, and I love him. If I can't trust what he says, then what else can I possibly trust?
Cardia!
Look at all that purple smoke flying about. He props me up as he yells out my name in desperation. Feeling his beloved warmth, I utter his name with trembling lips. Victor.
待ってて、これを。
He pours a glowing blue liquid from the test tube into my mouth, but it's too late. I no longer have control over my body. The liquid he pours into my mouth spills down my chin. No! In a daze, my eyelids slowly fall. Everything is going to end soon. You'll have to give it to her a different way. My feelings, Victor's life, and all of London will be submerged in a sea of poison. Just as I'm thinking this, a maddeningly warm sensation gently touches my lips. At the same time, something sweet fills my mouth and gently slides down my throat. All I can feel is a strong embrace and the sensation of soft lips against mine. My throat reflexively gulps. Slowly, ever so slowly, something sweet fills my body. Victor? Oh, I love this. I love this shot so much. Feeding me the Zectarian from mouth to mouth can't be safe at all. I know, right? He just stuck a poison in his mouth to give to you. Now that's dedication. I knew there was going to be 2 CGs, and I'm like, I don't know which one I want to use. I've been debating this like all day. I open my eyes wide in surprise, and Victor smiles, our lips still pressed together. Right now, I want to bask in this joyful warmth. So many things have happened to me, more than I can ever have imagined while living in this mansion alone. I went on an adventure with everyone, with Victor, and cried, felt angry, laughed. In the end, I was able to feel Victor's warmth with my entire body. Even if I die here, I can say with pride that I was happy. I was able to love you and be loved by you. I'm probably the happiest person in the entire world. She's so adorable. No matter what the outcome, I want Victor's face to be the last thing I see. With these thoughts, I open my eyes, which had been drifting shut. The shaking grows more violent, and the device is giving off an intense light. I can hear Victor's labored breathing right by me. Victor, how could you be so reckless? I mean, sure, maybe it was reckless, but he was desperate. You were not taking it, and he was going to lose you. I mean, what else did you expect?
ジクテリウムは 液体から気化するとき劇的に効果が強まる。ただの毒としてじゃなくガス兵器として利用されたのはそれが理由なんだ。
In the white light, he smiles once again to reassure me.
決して無害とは言えないけど液体の段階ではまだそのまま死に至るほどじゃない。
Not instantly fatal, just slowly fatal.
そもそも僕が君を置いて一人で行くわけないじゃないか。
Yeah, I know, like, he wasn't going to let you die. There was only one way.
二人で生きるってそう決めたんだから。
I love his voice right now. It's so sweet. As the white light engulfs everything, I smile towards Victor. Victor responds with his own best smile.
愛してるよカルディア。
I love you too. We smile at each other. Meanwhile, everything is exploding in the background. Then everything disappears into a white light. Oh no! Is that the end? That would be a short ending. Oh wow, that was the end. Wow. I think, I thought Van Helsing's was longer, like an hour and a half. Maybe not. Look at him, he's so handsome.
張り詰めた心の糸優しくほどけてく柔らかな日差しにただ愛されてるみたい We flowers into colors ephemerally soft tree Love from me some eternal petals この世界がもし幻想でも思いを込めた花冠をあなたの笑顔に捧げましょうありがとう Thank you for your love
I'm going to try something new. I'm going to put like a disclaimer, I guess, for this song and see if it avoids a copyright claim, but we'll see if it worked or not. If I put the credits to the singer throughout the whole thing, maybe it won't say copyright claimed, but I mean, the claims don't hurt the channel at all. It's just annoying seeing that word copyright on my channel or on the video, I should say. Well, that is the end of Victor's Route. It was short and sweet. It was very sweet. But yay, now we can finally do the endings and we can get into Saint Germain's Route, which is going to be another it's going to be another heart-wrencher like Van Helsing's is. It's a little depressing, super sad, but he is still a really good guy despite what he does during this route. So I can't wait. I'm just going to say, so whoever is watching this to the very end, you guys get to know first. But after this series, I think I'm going to do Cupid Parasite. I don't know how long it's been out, but it's been out for a while, and it's probably not going to get very many people to watch it either. But there's a fan disc coming out May 28th, I believe. I'm not going to be able to get Cupid Parasite done before May 28th because, you know, my videos come out, like I only produce like 2 videos a week. But with Cupid Parasite, hopefully I'll produce them more often because I haven't seen them I haven't read it at all, and it hopefully it will keep me wanting to read more and keep me interested, so that way I could post like 3 or 4 videos a week. But the fan is coming out. It looks really silly. Like, I haven't read it yet because it's very colorful and the art style is very exaggerated, I guess. So it put me off a little bit because the aesthetic is just not my thing, but it looks like a really funny game. It looks very humorous, and I've heard lots of good stuff about it. So I am putting aside my first impression thoughts and I'm just going to read it because I watched the little video of the fan disc as well. And the fan disc, just look at the CGs, it looks really funny. So after this series, we could use a funny anime again, not anime, Otome game. We could use a funny Otome game again because the My Next Life as a Villainess was funny. This one was more down to earth, a little bit depressing, and like the normal endings are not even good. So all the endings are bad. The only one that's not bad is the happy ending. So I am looking for a change of pace, and hopefully we can get some comedy going. So that's my plan, and I'm looking forward to it. First, I got to finish the last 2 routes of this, and then we can get down to that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a thumbs up down below and or subscribe for the rest of the content of Code Relays, and I will see you guys in the next one.